Hey, MTS crew, what is going on, y'all? I hope it's all good in the neighborhood. Y'all, we're getting ready to make some soup, and I'm going to use beef neck bone. This was on sale um, for $1.26. So I bought a couple of them, but I'm only going to use one because we mainly want vegetable soup. But I just use this kind of, for those who want a little meat in their soup. So we're going to use some Knorr. Y'all, if y'all want to make some good soup, Knorr makes the best soup. Now this right here is like a mix for a dip, but I use this for my soup, y'all. Okay, we're going to do some diced tomatoes, some tomato sauce, some beef base, some mixed vegetables. Usually I'll chop up all of my vegetables, the carrots or whatever, but I'm just going to do the mixed vegetables. I chopped up roughly some onion, bell pepper, and celery, and I'm going to use, the beef base. I'm going to use some of my other seasonings, and I'm going to make a soup. Now this soup with this one beef bone, it's going to be enough to feed 6 people with what you see here. Now, I might decide to do another can of tomatoes. That's fine. And with this soup, you can do lentil. I'm going to show you how I make my ham bone lentil soup with the ham bone we had left over from Thanksgiving. My ham bone lentil soup is delicious. But this is going to be my beef bone soup. So let's get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is rinse the beef bone off really good. And I'm going to parboil it. I always like to parboil my meat. So I'm going to parboil it, and when it's parboiled and ready, then we'll add we won't add our other ingredients because it's going to take a while for this soup to cook. But I will add my celery, bell pepper, and onion to this for the flavor. And I'll go ahead and put my beef base in here, and I'll just let this cook until it really cooks off the bone. Then we'll go ahead and add, the beans and the mixed vegetables. Y'all, it's a rainy day and rainy cold day here in Georgia, and we just had a taste for some soup. And it's just my husband and I, but I make enough to share with family, and they'll come over and get them a bowl or two of this delicious soup. Let's get started. Okay, MTS crew, I have my these are beef neck bones. I have them already washed and cleaned. So I'm going to let these boil for about maybe 20 minutes. And after I boil them, I'm going to clean the pot out and go ahead and start them off to cook and put my all my seasonings in there. But I have the eye on high. So we're not going to add any seasoning to this. We're not going to add any seasoning to this because we're just cooking off any fats. Because the last time I made this, I noticed I had a lot of oils and grease in it from the bone, so I decided to just go ahead and just parboil it. Okay, so we'll be back in a minute when I get ready to season it. MTS crew, this has been boiling for about 15 minutes. I'm going to let it boil a little longer, but this is why I like to parboil all of my meats, because of this brown gook that comes off of the meat, and sometimes it's just fat, but I like to go ahead and parboil. And when I finish with this, I'm going to wash the pot out. Wash it out with some dishwashing liquid, and go get it cleaned out really good. Maybe put a little bleach in the water and get it cleaned out real good. Then I'm going to start off with a nice clean pot and some nice clean meat. So y'all parboil y'all meats, even turkey necks or whatever, parboil everything. Okay, MTS crew, I've cleaned my pot. I've rinsed the meat off a couple of times. So I'm going in with my roughly chopped vegetables. Okay, y'all, I always put garlic in everything. We love garlic. We're going in with about a tablespoon of garlic. And with me, when cooking soups, before I put my my other vegetables in, I always like the meat to get a little tender, and I'm going to add okra. That's a teaspoon of black pepper. We're going in with a teaspoon of salt. Because if you put your vegetables in, especially the frozen vegetables, they will cook to nothing. Okay, I'm going in with 1 tablespoon of Tom's beef base. Okay, I'm going in with 1 tablespoon of Mrs. Dash, because you got enough salt in there really, but we just like Mrs. Dash. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this cook down And when it cooks down and the meat is good and tender, then I start adding, excuse me, all my vegetables in there. And I'll go ahead and add my Knorr mix. In about 20 minutes, I add my Knorr mix. Now, if you want more meat, use more of the beef neck bones, but we wanted more vegetables, and this is enough for us, you know, because we don't necessarily have to have the meat, but we're gonna let that meat cook off the bone, then we're going to remove the meat from the pot. So let's go ahead and let this cook for a while. I'm going to put the top on. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and add our Knorr mix. Okay, y'all, we got our Knorr. Let's go ahead and add diced tomatoes in here. Okay, let's go ahead and add 1 can of tomato sauce in there. Okay, we're gonna let the meat continue to cook with that seasoning in there until it's fully cooked off of the bone. Okay. It's getting there. Y'all, the cornbread is ready. We're going to enjoy this soup and cornbread. Okay, y'all, the meat has cooked off of the bones. I have a few more pieces that I'm going to help along the way to take some of the meat off the bone. But I like for my meat to cook completely off the bone. And if it does that, that means that it is tender. So let's get ready to go in with our mixed vegetables. And anytime you put cold and hot, it stops the cooking process. So I'm going to go ahead and get my vegetables. Okay, let's go ahead and add 1 can of red kidney beans. I'm sorry, y'all. Sound like I'm coming down. Okay. So we got 1 can of red kidney beans. If you like kidney beans, you can add 2 cans. And this is a large bag of mixed vegetables. And I'm going to put about half of this bag in. Okay. I'm going to let that cook and simmer down for a minute. And then the last thing I'm going to add is my okra. I do not like slimy okra in my soup. So I put the okra in, turn the soup off, and the steam will cook the okra. So we're going to add the okra next. Let's go ahead and add our okra. The okra is the last thing that you add. And what I did was, my pot was kind of full, so I took some of the liquid off. And after I add my okra, I'm going to pour that liquid back on and cover. And it's ready. I'm turning the heat off. So let's go ahead and add my okra. I'm going to add a lot of okra because my family loves it. And this is frozen okra. You can use fresh if you like. We're not going to turn it off right this minute. Maybe give it about 3 minutes. And I'm going to turn it off. And put the top back. And when I come back, we'll have a bowl of soup. We're done, MTS crew. Our okra kind of cooked along, you know, kind of steamed. And this is our soup. These are beef neck bones. This soup is absolutely delicious, y'all. It tastes good. And this is good for a day like it is here in Georgia. It's rainy, it's cold. And this is what we need. And you can add anything you want to your soup. I have done this soup with all fresh vegetables. But today I didn't. There's the meat, and the meat has fell off the bone and it's good and tender. So my husband and I are getting ready to sit down and enjoy our soup. Be good to yourself. And if you be good to yourself, you have no other choice but to be good to others. Y'all be blessed. Enjoy this recipe. It is absolutely delicious. And the reason I did my soup in different sections is because I, don't like mushy vegetables. So I always let my meat cook, and then I'll add, my cans, like my tomatoes or whatever else I want to add. And then I'll turn around and add my start adding my vegetables. And my last thing to add is the okra, and you won't have slimy okra. So y'all, we're getting ready to eat. God bless y'all.